Alright, so the thing today is we're going to have to create the collar here. Now the way Eldon did his collar, it's more of a flat collar. I have left the material there for to create a different high-sided collar, and that's the way I had done mine. And Marilyn wanted to do it that way, so we'll set it up that way. So you can see that the angle comes back on the very front, so that we're going to make a V cut right across the front in order to create that high collar. So again, that's just done with a V tool, and you can see by the material that's left there that can be done. I'll just where are we?
Is that right at that notch you have in there?
Yeah, right at the notch. You can move it up or down. It doesn't have to be at that particular spot. It depends on how much of a collar you want to leave her. But a bit of an undercut to it. Keep it flat on her chest. So there's my undercut. Can you see that okay? So that's basically it for the bottom part of it. So then we have to shape the top part, and that we want to create a bit of a taper, so narrow it down a bit on the front and a taper back to the collar. So let me create a flat spot in there and then I'll come back to it. So you see what I've done here is I've created a kind of like an apron through this area here, and it goes all the way up. See, it comes all the way up. I'll pass this around so you can have a look at it, but get it relatively the same on both sides. So now all I've done is I've created now this apron or platform from which I can then create the shape of the collar. Once you get the platform built and you get that shape, restore the center line, put the center line back in. It's important to get our symmetry. So now we've got to come to nothing here, and we've got to create a V that comes up to the outside of her neck. So put that in there like that. Okay. So if you look here, what I've done is I've drawn on my visualization of what the end piece looks like. This end piece right here is what I'm referring to. So what we're going to do is, there's the center line put back in, and so we're going to create the letter M in here. Okay. Isn't that simple? And if you take a look at the finished product, you can see that's exactly what it is. It's the letter M. Okay? So that looks like a bunch of lines, but you can see what I mean. I leave a little bit of a flat spot on the top of my M, and that leaves me a little bit of leeway when I want to create that peak. I can move it in or out a little bit. And then again, my favorite tool is the V tool. And so that's what I'm going to do is I'll set up one side and I'll just remove it on that angle, and then I'll come back just be a second. Okay, so the power's back on, and here we go. So I've created the V in the center here, and then I've hollowed out the neck and got the neck coming around, so that I've got a half decent neck in here now. I've created the collar all the way around the back, so that I've created that shape coming around. I have dropped this shoulder here a little bit, so that that will allow this shoulder to stay up high, because the arm is pushing up the shoulder, and so this shoulder will be down, this one will be up, and that kind of gives you the general shape of where we need to establish the neck, the collar, and the shoulders. I'll pass it around. Okay, so the only diagram we got for her right arm is this one here, but you can get all the various angles you need off of it. Now, she has a long sleeve blouse or top on there, and when I did mine, I did a short sleeve. And according to our resident expert, Marilyn says that that would likely be the case because they wouldn't have long sleeves on. So that's the approach I'm going to take with this one as well. So there's a couple of features here. First of all, the shoulder gets wide at the top and then comes down narrow for the elbow. The wrist narrows down. There's a kind of a bulbous part on the back of her hand, and the front is flat because the thumb is going to be on the inside. So looking at it strictly from this one side view straight in, then I went and I did a drawing as to how I figured that should sit. Keep in mind that the wrist can turn one way or the other, it doesn't matter, but orient where the elbow is. The elbow is here and the cut in the inside is here. I always like to have an angle. I drop the outside of the elbow down a little bit as opposed to the inside. I've drawn on what I figure I'm going to take a bit of material off the back, and that'll hump the back here. That'll give the back a little bit more motion by taking some off the back. And the wrist is narrowed down. I created a little bit of a curvature on the bottom of the back side of the hand. On the front side of the hand, it's going to be relatively flat, but the key here is flat, curved. We got a general shape the other way. Find out where the pinch is, where the wrist is going to be, and you can give her whatever thickness of muscles that you want here. Just keep in mind that the shoulder is going to be wider and thicker than the forearm. Okay, so draw it on ahead of time, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut straight across. I oriented where I figured the elbow was going to end, put a little square where I figured the elbow may end. It could move in or out a little bit depending on what the final shape is going to be. Keep in mind that we've got a lot of material in here that we can still remove. Okay? So there it is with it pared down. It likely could be thinned down a bit more, but I've got the bend in the elbow and the bend in the front. I haven't created the sleeve, but I've given enough material there for it. Come down, I've narrowed down the wrist somewhat and still created the hand. So it's a straight in cut, straight in to the body. I haven't even addressed the other side yet. The only thing you might want to clean out is where belly comes around here so that we create this continuous shape that comes down through there. But the hand has already been previously rounded. That's part of the saw cut. I have created a stop cut here for the end of where the wrist is going to be. All right, so you can see there's a lot of material here so that we can create that for the hole that's going to hold the needle. There's a lot of spot in there. The thumb is going to fit against the side of the body. But get this shape first, straight in. Make it square. Make it square before you make it round. Okay, so once we get the outside shape established, now I want to get the inside shape, so I need to take some material out. And as you can see here, that there is a lot of material that can be taken out because this big hollow in here. So likewise in here, here's your arm. So that arm is still plenty of meat in here. So let's mark that on and establish where the bend in the elbow is, and then we're going to take all this material out of the middle, right down to the V at the bottom. Yeah, there's too much material. So there it is with it roughed out all the way around. It's still square, haven't made it round. Now I'm going to work on the hand. The back of the hand has a curve round this way. Well, I'm going to use my big number 5 gouge, and I'm going to create that shape going around. It's only a slight curve. You've already got the curve for the fingers going down. They're already there. If you take a look at that, that's pretty well the same shape as that gouge. Alright, so we're going to create the second motion to it now. There it is, and it's rounded slightly around all the way down, and you can just about see the fingers there now. So now we got to create the planes. So you're going to have the back of your hand. So the back of the hand is going to be flat from there to there. And you're going to get the first set of planes, and then that's going to come across there like that. And then the other fingers are going to tilt in. Okay, so draw them on, and then create those flat spots. So can you see the planes there now? So the last set of knuckles are going to be inside the pressing right against the side of the skirt. So we got a flat spot on the top, first set of knuckles, next set of knuckles, and if I can get it around this side, there, you can kind of see it there now. So then it becomes just a question of drawing in where the fingers will be. Remember, we got to create a fair big hole in there, and the fingers are going to be something like that. Again, the thumb is going to be back in here, isn't it? So this is going to be eventually all hollowed out. So get the outside shape, and then worry about the inside shape. So if you can get that established, and your homework would be to drill a hole through there. No, I would suggest that you drill it just past halfway on the front, then turn it around, and then drill it halfway on the back, because notice how you're going to have to get into the bum hair a little bit. Okay? And don't drill all the way. You're going to have to hollow out a little bit.
The reason would be a tiny hole, so you can get a pilot so you can spray things.
You could pilot it, yes.
That's the only thing I would think of.
Yeah, but you just keep in mind that eventually we're going to have to hollow out a little bit in here in order to create the space for that needle. Okay? So that kind of gives you a better idea there with the hole started, and then the hole in the back end ready to go as well. I mean, you can use a gouge to put that hole through there, or you can drill it with a drill. I use the number 9 on that. I'll do one more thing before we break, and that is the fingers. Remember that this knuckle joint here does not have any grooves in it. If you take a look at a hand, you see where the knuckles are here, and the slot is here. So it's down. Okay? Take a look at your hand and you'll see that. So the same thing applies here. So divide it in the middle, and that divides the distance in half. Then we're going to divide this distance from there to there in half, and this distance from here to here in half. And those are the 3 fingers. And notice that they don't come all the way up to the knuckle joint. So those continue down, and then they go over the corner in order to create the fingers down below. And I use a V-tool on that. You can highlight it later with a knife in there, with a knife cut, but just continue those down and around, and there's your 4 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. The thumb is over here, and we can put that thumb in here because the thumb is going to be shorter. Yeah, where are we? The thumb is going to be shorter than the fingers. The fingers are longer, so with them curled, there's the thumb sitting there. So your thumb is going to fit right in here.